Hey guys, this is Amber. That is Robert Lamb.
Hello. Hello.
And this is Wilbur BK.
Oh my God. I love this podcast.
How's it going, Robert Lamb?
It's going okay.
Do you want to have kids when you grow up?
Do I need to adopt a new attitude?
You need to adopt a new attitude. You were going a different way than I was.
What was your question?
Do you want to have kids when you grow up?
Hell's yeah.
Okay.
Only but not the kind you're thinking of.
Would you ever adopt a child?
I want baby goats.
Ooh, you would
Little
adopt.
kids.
You would adopt baby goats.
No kids.
Ha ha ha! I get it.
Honestly, because this is adoption day. That's what we're getting to. I was thinking about like maybe in like another like 7 years or something. When I'm like 40,
Yeah.
if I don't have kids by then, I might do some adopting.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I feel like by the time I'm ready for children, my lady parts are gonna be like, you're too old to have
All
children.
shriveled up and dead.
Yeah. All shriveled up and dead.
All dried up. I think that's how it works, right?
Yep. So then maybe I'll adopt. Who knows? I don't know if I want children either, so
Yeah.
we'll see how life goes. But yeah, today is National Adoption Day. That's why we're talking about this weird subject.
Do you know anybody who's adopted? Do you have any friends that have been adopted? 'Cause I knew somebody and I can't think of who it was now.
I think I do, and so there's two brothers that I know from like downtown. They work at bars downtown, and I met them through there, and Adam and I became friends with them, but they have another brother that was adopted, and he also worked at the bars downtown.
That's weird.
And then I feel like when I was growing up, I had some friends that were adopted, but I don't remember. I don't think I have any right now that I know of.
So I had a friend who I believe he was adopted from high school, my friend Paul.
He was
And
adopted
then
from high school?
He was adopted from high school. It went all the way to graduate school. No, he was in high school. My friend from high school, his name Paul, he was adopted. But my other friend, Sean, used to make fun of him for being adopted because my friend Sean was an asshole. But he used to make fun of everybody. He would make fun of some of our friends. Yeah,
okay.
He would make fun of some of our friends for being fat. He would make some of our friends for being losers, like whatever it was. But he was a loser too, and he knew it.
Yeah.
But it was always funny to me because I remember I think I like asked him one time like, why do you make fun of it? Like, who gives a shit and stuff like that? And he said, no. He's like, I don't really care. He's like, it's just what I do. And I was like, okay. He's like, honestly, I wish I was adopted. Like, 'cause he hated his family. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know his dad. And I remember that was one thing. He always was like, I just want to find my dad so I could just punch him in the face and walk away. I'm like, all right. So, yeah, adoption. I don't really know anybody else who's been adopted.
We used to say that. We used to tell my sister, Cara Frady, that she was adopted all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's a sibling thing.
Is to tell them that they're secretly adopted. Because she had red hair. She's the only sibling that had red hair, so it was easy to get away with.
That's true.
But no. And then, but I have, like I have some friends that got married, and like one of them already had a child, so they adopted that child. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah. But I don't think that's like the same.
See, for me, is like if I was old enough. I mean, I am old enough, but if I like had a decent job and I could pay for a kid and stuff like that, and I was like certain I wasn't gonna have kids of my own, I figure like, yeah, I'd probably adopt, but like when I adopt, I probably would adopt like an older kid, like not older, like older,
just not
but
an
like
infant.
Not an infant, because that's what people always want. They want the infant and raise it. And I know it's easier, not easier. Well, not easy, but easier to do that.
It's
because
easier because you can shape them in your
you can shape them. Whereas when you adopt a kid who's already been around,
they've
like,
already
you don't
been
know
in
what
the
kind
system.
of life they've
probably
had.
A fucked up life,
right?
Yeah. They could have been in and out of another home. You never know.
And you don't know if it's going to turn into like that movie Orphan, where she's actually a 40-year-old small person.
Or they have
alert.
Or they have like a horrible background and end up being a serial killer.
Well, that happened to that was like a real story where that couple adopted like this. She was like from like another country, but she was like a kid, and they thought she was a kid, but she was actually like, I think she was only like 18, even though they thought she was 12 or like something like that. But she was like weird, and they were like, this is weird, and then they found out, and then they ended up just like leaving her in the apartment
no.
and like left because they didn't want to like take her back or some shit. So the parents actually got fined for doing that.
Of course.
But it was just weird. But they were like, well, we were lied to. And it's like, well, you still can't just leave the kid.
So you just leave the kid. Sorry, kid, they lied to us about you.
I don't know. It was a weird situation. But I see a lot of videos too of like older kids getting adopted and like they're all happy and shit. And like, I feel bad.
Yeah.
And I would do one where like maybe it's like a brother and sister and they don't want to get separated.
Yeah.
And you have to adopt both of them. Like maybe I'd do that. But then also I'd have to.
I want to adopt someone,
careful.
kid that has secret superpowers like the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I want to adopt a giant ape man from the moon.
I don't think I'd want him.
No?
Nope.
Of all the Umbrella Academy, who would you adopt?
Probably the Asian kid, but he died. But if he didn't die,
I'd adopt
the little kid,
the Whisper, just because she's hot.
She is hot. You can't adopt a hot person.
If Woody Allen can do it, so can I.
Oh, gross.
Just kidding. He's
totally kidding.
I feel like sometimes I forget we're recording and it's not just you and me talking.
No.
With what I should and shouldn't say. But yeah, no, that makes sense.
Anyway.
That is like the weirdest one.
It is the weirdest one.
Adopting a kid and being like, I could marry you one day.
It's just so gross.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Anyway, Adoption Day is an effort to focus attention on the more than 125,000 children waiting to be adopted from foster care in the U.S. A coalition of national partners, the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Congressional Coalition on Adoption Institute, Alliance for Children's Rights, and Children's Action Network, founded National Adoption Day. They encouraged 7 cities in 2000 to open their courts on or around the Saturday before Thanksgiving to finalize and celebrate adoptions from foster care. So last year alone, 4,000 adoptions were finalized on the Saturday before Thanksgiving. That's cute.
That's nice.
You got to go home with their new fam and have a Thanksgiving Day and be thankful.
I literally saw like a video not too long ago of like this kid. He was like super into the military. Like he loved the military and the army and all that kind of stuff. He wasn't in any of that stuff because he was too young.
Yeah.
But he really liked that stuff. And I think he was 17, but he was going to turn 18 soon. And he said he was probably going to go into the military. And obviously that probably makes sense because of how he grew up. And,
exactly.
You know, but he like left this video saying like, I just hope I still get adopted even though I'm too old. He's like, I still just want to be adopted so I can have like a family that's proud of me and stuff like that. And that shit, like, I was like, God damn it.
I'm gonna cry.
I want to fucking adopt you, kid.
Adopt you, kid.
I just feel bad. I want to. Like, I see those videos and it's so sad.
It is so sad.
But I know that I'm not in a state right now where I could do that.
I mean, if he's going to leave for the military in a year,
I mean,
all you got to do is
guess.
write him letters.
Yeah.
Proud of you, kid.
But when he comes back, like, you still, like, it's still, like, stuff.
Yeah, no,
Like,
yeah.
it's just a lot. And, like, I don't even have enough money to take care of myself.
Exactly.
I really can't afford. And I think, like, when you adopt, like, they do thorough background checks.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, come in,
They,
check
like,
your
come
house.
in your house and shit.
They check everything.
Yeah. It's not easy, which is understandable.
What's this shit on your computer? Okay, that's only for me.
Sometimes I like pour it. I'll put a lock on it.
There's a lock on the door. There's a lock on the door. A lock on the computer. I'm sorry.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So the policymakers and advocates plan these annual one-day events in 400 different U.S. cities, with dreams of the 75,000 children in foster care. To get adopted on National Adoption Day events. Approximately 2 million Americans are adopted, with about 150,000 adoptions happening each year, including about 50,000 through foster care. And the U.S. adoptions can be either domestic or international. And they can be arranged either through a state agency, an adoption agency, or independently.
Wow.
Wow. So, yeah, first adoption day was in 2000. In the 1970s is when the adoption reform happened. There are new measures to help adoptees search for their birth parents if they desired to do so. more states began to consider changing laws to give those separated by adoption access to information about themselves and each other. So that the 70s was when they changed that. Like you could look up to see who your parents were, or where your kids that you put up for adoption are.
Do you think, and not to get too deep or sentimental or like even emotional, but do you think if you didn't know your mom or parents in general, like if you didn't know them, would you want to find your mom? Would you want to find her if you were like right when you get out, you're 18, come out?
I don't know. See, like I hear stories about this, and I feel like I wouldn't want to because I feel like if they didn't want me,
right? I feel the same way.
And like if they wanted to find me, then they could find me, but I'm not going to try and find them. But I don't know. But I've never been in that situation. So, but like I said, like every time I hear someone, I'm like, why would you want to find someone that?
Sometimes I think it works out, like where like,
and then it almost
like, happy,
it's
but it's
right.
like. I don't want to be happy with that person.
Yeah, exactly. But then you see the stories where it's the opposite too. They're like, "Why did you come find me?" And they're like a shitty person, and you always have that possibility of that happening too.
I'll go look for them, but if they're like in a trailer park and like there's like beer bottles all outside and stuff, I'm
nope,
like,
turn around.
I'm good. Never mind.
No, but no, yeah, I don't think I would. Like, I don't even talk to my dad now, and my mom's like, you should forgive your dad and you should talk to him, and I was like, I mean, no, why? Like, if he wanted to talk to me, he could reach out and talk to me, but I'm not going to be the one.
I think it's easier for them to talk to the kids anyways.
Yeah.
Because they know, like, your dad would, like, he knows where you are, right?
Yeah, he knows where I am.
And then same with, like, adoptions, like, they could look for adoption and call places.
It's much easier than finding a random person. But.
Yeah.
On average, children in the foster care system wait 3 years to be adopted, but many of them actually age out. Over 20,000 children age out of the foster care system annually without a family or permanent home. That's so sad. 20,000 people just don't have parents.
Yeah, they just go out. That's sad. But it's kind of like the same way I feel about like animals too. Like when I get older, like I want to adopt like older animals too.
Yeah.
Because like people don't want the older animals. They want younger puppies. Same with like younger kids when they adopt, they want babies and toddlers. But like I feel like I don't know, I'd rather give like a better life to like older generations.
And there's a lot of people. I mean, you're right, but there are still a lot of people out there that will adopt older animals and older children.
I've seen a lot of them on Ellen DeGeneres show.
Yeah.
She always has them on, which is nice. But apparently now we have to fucking take her down too.
Yep. She sucks. Everyone sucks. I don't understand. We don't need to get on that topic, but I don't understand it. So yeah, today's about promoting adoption. Obviously, you can volunteer to the hundreds of organizations that work to promote adoption, and spread the word that there's thousands that need a permanent home in the child foster care system.
Yeah.
Solid holiday. Volunteer or just.
Do you have to actually go through getting an adoption to have cake, or can you just have cake regardless?
I think you can. I think you could have cake for those children that are getting adopted today.
Yeah. Have cake for those kids who can't.
Have cake for those kids who can't.
That's not sad.
Or maybe, I don't know if you're allowed to do this, maybe you could bring a cake to a foster home. Who knows?
I guess. But you better bring enough cake for everybody.
Yeah. There's 20,000 children. Better get a big cake.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
This one's like a tough one.
It is a tough one because you're
not really like celebrating the day.
No.
Unless you're.
This is another one of those, it's about awareness. And
yeah. I mean, I guess if you're aware of adoption, you can have a cake. Adoption's a thing.
Are you aware?
Yummy. Chocolate cake.
Yeah, it's a weird one to say you'll have cake for, but I mean, whatever.
I think if you actually adopt a child, you definitely have to have a cake. You have to have a cake.
Today's the day to adopt a child and have a cake, too.
I think I saw like a video where like they,
Bring the child
maybe it was
home
like
give them a cake.
They did that like they were like the stepdad or like I think it was like the stepdad filed for like paperwork to have like their kid or whatever, so they brought a cake for that.
Oh.
So if you do that, I think you can have a cake for that too. That's adoption, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Is that
I don't know.
is that considered adoption? I don't know. Like
I
if you're
mean,
like
I think
dating a woman,
technically-
she has a kid, and then you're like, yeah,
I think technically, if I was younger, my stepdad would have adopted me. If I was like,
Okay.
a little bit younger. But yeah, I think it counts.
okay,
It's not in the same way. You still need to be aware of the
right. The other adoption,
hundreds of thousands of children out there that don't have homes that need adopted. But
Yeah,
whatever. And maybe just even think about, like, if you don't have children, or even if you do have children, think about adopting. Like, just
are you giving them up for adoption?
give them up for adoption.
How frustrated are you with your kids? Do you have more than one kid? Can you pick a favorite? Do you care about the other
Maybe
one?
trade them in for a new one.
Yeah, trade them in. Get a new one.
No, I just mean, like, I don't mean like actually go out and adopt, but like just think about, like, what if you could adopt, or, you know.
Yeah.
And then give yourself a cake for thinking about it.
Yeah, sure. Eat a cake today, I guess. Whatever.
Okay, yeah. I think that's it.
All right, that does it for this episode.
Have a great day. Adopt.
So tomorrow.
Right.
This has been a Seven Lamb production.